Batman and Robin number 30, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Patrick Gleason. So last issue, Roz has taken the bodies of Talia and Damian and was messing with Aquaman a little bit. And then at the end of the issue, turns out he's making his way to Paradise Island. And so Batman meets up with Wonder Woman and says, hey, I need a favor. So this issue picks up with Batman having a sword to his neck by Alika, another Amazon. And she's just like, you're letting a dude on the island, talking to Wonder Woman. And Wonder Woman's like, yeah, stop messing with me, okay? Seriously, I'm not going to tell you again. And she just keeps on going on and on, saying like, oh, we were turned to snakes over in your book forever. Now that we're finally Amazons again, the first thing you do is bring in a dude onto Paradise Island. And Wonder Woman's like, hey, his son was killed. The body is being brought here to Paradise Island. It's stolen by someone else. It's a whole thing. All right? We're just letting him find his son. And she's just like, okay, well, why would you think that he's able to make it here? And it's like, well, first off, the island apparently has a Lazarus pit. And they're like, we've never heard of that. And he's just like, I don't care if you've ever heard of it. Apparently, he thinks it's here. That's good enough. And secondly, as to why he might be able to make it here onto Paradise Island, it's because he's an immortal named Ra's al Ghul. He knows some stuff. He might know how to make it onto the island. And Alika's just calling him out, just being like, oh, well, why are you dressed like a bat? And he's like, to strike fear into people. She's like, not working for me. And then she just punches him in the stomach and knocks the wind out of him. And Wonder Woman then decides to get involved, punches Alika in the face, just being like, yo, seriously, we are not doing this, all right? You will listen to me, or else I swear to God I will kick you off this island. And so at that point, Batman takes off his cowl. He's just like, enough. Look, she feels the need to beat up and or kill a mortal man just to, like, get this weird game out of the way. So be it. Let's go. Let's do this. And Alika's, like, looking down, just like, all right, respect. You have until dawn. After that, we're throwing you into the ocean. Wonder Woman's like, you do that, I throw you in the ocean. Batman's like, whatever. Fine. Plenty of time. So real quick, Wonder Woman needs to go over and pay respects to her mother, who is a statue at this point on Paradise Island. And Batman's like, what's that about? And she's like, oh, that's my mom. She was turned into a statue because Hera found out that I was the love child of her and Zeus. And Batman's like actual God Zeus? And Woman's like, yeah. Is that a problem? And he's like, nah. It's just weird. So we go to Ra's al Ghul. He has managed to find a map that leads to this dark cave, and he's just like, at last, one of the only two Lazarus pits that breaches between different planes, our world and the world of the Amazons. So let's go. So Wonder Woman and Batman make their way to the Oracle, and the Oracle's like, oh, if you want some information, I'm going to need an offering. And Batman just pulls out a batarang, being like, here, throw it hard. She throws it in some fruit, and she's like, nice, I like it. So they ask where the Lazarus pit is, and he's just like, yeah, no, totally. It's in a place called the Cavern of Nikta. Nikta being the god of darkness or night. And she basically goes on this whole long spiel about like, oh, you know, the darkness, it will devour you whole, da-da-da, you should be afraid of it. And Batman's like, I ain't scared to go out of the dark. And he's just like, oh, well, you should be. So we then go to Ra's, who is at the Lazarus pit, but makes the scientist there is making remarks being like, hey, this Lazarus pit, like most pits glow green. This thing is black. You sure this is good? And Ra's just cuts his head off being like, it better be good. So they hit it with this weird crystal thing in order to activate it. And then we go to the outside of the cave where some man-bats are keeping guard. Batman and Wonder Woman just take them out and immediately make their way inside the cave. And as Ra's is doing his whole big theatrical thing, Batman's like, Ra's, you stop this now. And he's just like, serious? Jesus, Bat. Look, I expected you to show up at the whole Aquaman thing, but here, I genuinely wasn't expecting that. Good job. You are a thorn in my side. So at that point, Wonder Woman's like, hey, how did you even make it on this island? And Ra's goes into this long spiel about how there was a ship many centuries ago that the Amazons came on, made love to all the men, and then slaughtered them all. Only a lone priest who lived by a rule of chastity faked his own death and managed to survive. But as he tried to convince people that there was an island full of warrior women who are beautiful and dangerous, everyone just laughed at him and said, you stupid man, except for Ra's, who took him, learned about the route that the ship was taking when they encountered the Amazons, and then kind of just extrapolated from there. So at that point, Roz then reveals this is a special Lazarus pit. Because of its special location, if I drop in Talia and Damien, it's going to wipe their minds clean. They're going to be blank slates. And then I can teach them all the stuff that I wanted to teach them. They'll actually obey me instead of being stupid, rebellious kids. And Batman's like, no, you can't do that. That's my son. And Roz is like, yeah, it's my grandson. What about it? Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and do this now. And Batman calls him out saying, no, that's a really bad idea. You don't know what this pit is. And he's like, I know more about the Lazarus pits than you do. Okay, Batman, okay, bye. So all of a sudden the pit explodes out. A giant godlike creature comes out. It's Nycta. And he screams out like, Zeus, I hunger. And immediately starts flailing, like attacking all the guys from Roz's group there. Batman tries to get the sarcophagus that has Damien in it. A couple man-bats steal it away from him. Wonder Woman stops a cave-in from landing right onto Batman. And Batman notices, like, okay, all of the guns and stuff they're shooting at this giant creature are phasing right through. The only stuff that's actually being absorbed into it is organic matter, aka all the people it's eating as it screams, Zeus, I hunger. So they try to do their best to fight against Nycta, but Roz takes the opportunity to take the sarcophagi again and just fly out the roof, being like, all right, we'll find another one, no biggie. And so they just leave. Wonder Woman wraps Nycta up in the lasso of truth as Batman tries to tranquilize Roz. Roz just bats it away. He's just like, that was stupid. You should have known that wasn't going to work. Bye, Batman. So Wonder Woman talks to Nycta and it's just like, hey, I got the lasso of truth on you. What do you want? Well, you say you hunger. What do you actually want? He's like, I want to see the sunrise. He's like, we could do that. Yeah, let's go take him to the sunrise. So they walk him out of the cave. They bring him down to the nearby beach. And he's just like, all right, I'm happy with this. But because he's a creature of actual darkness, once the light hits him, he just disappears. And they make the point here saying that, like, Damien was a creature of darkness when he was part of the League of Assassins, but he made the choice, much like Nycta, to see the light. And that's why he cannot allow Roz to bring back Damien in this weird, messed up form. So, yeah, he's basically saying, like, all right, thanks, Wonder Woman, but he's left the island now, so point me how to get off the island so I can chase down my father-in-law, or my baby mama's dad, I guess would be a more accurate thing. Next time, Frankenstein. I like this one. I'm not sure if I like it more or less than Aquaman. Honestly, it feels a bit equal. This one I like just as much because it's tying in so heavily as to what's going on in Wonder Woman right now. It feels like a good bit of universe world building there. So I'll give props for that. And then it actually had a decent moral at the end of, like, you know, a creature who, born in darkness, lived in darkness, chooses to see the light. I like that metaphor there for Damien. So overall, I think I'm going to give this one 7.5. It's solid. I think the fight scene in the middle is just a little bit too haphazard for me. I would have liked it to be either a bit cleaner or a bit shorter. So either way, yeah, it's a good issue, just mainly for the beginning and end bits.